going to do some sketchy shit. Doo-dah, doo-dah, hope I get away with it. Oh, the doo-dah day.
Hello, folks, and welcome to Last Man Standing. I'm Dan Hollifield, and we are basically just continuing on from Stupid O'Clock like we always do. This is pretty much the Stupid O'Clock after party, although not everybody in Stupid O'Clock has the stamina to stay up into the night the way that I really enjoy doing. And unfortunately for him, my guest, Joe Bachman, and just has no choice in staying up late because he's as much as an insomniac as I am, even though he works for a living and I'm productively unemployed now. So uh, these things they have.
I do road construction. It's not work.
Well, I mean,
Well,
dodging
I do.
cars while waving an orange flag, like you're in NASCAR. Hey! It finish line is over there, not over here.
Oh, yeah. I got a
We're-
call from the foreman today. They're working on a set of lights over by the hospital.
Hello,
And
thesis.
apparently, a mouse had decided to make a nest inside of one of the mastheads and chewed through some of the copper wires.
Um, that even for a mouse, copper should not taste good. That is not an evolutionary advantage there.
Yeah.
The insulation, maybe. Copper, no, thank you. Um,
So yeah,
uh,
had to replace about 300 some odd feet of cable for that. But
Good Lord, 300 feet because a mouse chewed through a square inch? That's code for you, isn't it?
hmm
What's going to happen to the other 299.9 square feet or whatever, cubic feet or whatever it's measured in?
uh, linear feet, but it becomes the contractors. It's been in those poles long enough. All it's good for is probably scrap at this point anyway. So
Still, knowing Joe Dog, that is not an inconsiderable chunk of money. That's
it,
that's at least a tank of gas and a week's groceries.
I think
Uh,
it's 7-strand, 14 gauge.
hell,
Or
I want it now.
CNC 14, I think is what it was.
I cut it in half and run it between the house and the barbecue pergola, and put out a big old breaker box and whatnot for all the stuff I got to wire up out there to have lights and everything else I need.
Yeah,
Um,
I got to look at the pay item again because luckily we had that pay item already. So when he called me about it, I'm like, well, I don't have to do a change order, so just go through, do it, get it done. Because if there's one stoplight we can't have working, it's the one right outside the damn hospital. So,
yeah, and that one's kind of important. Um, and like I was saying, we're hoping that Aunt Donna is not. Well, I hate to say I hope she wakes up in time to join us when
mm,
I know for damn sure that once someone goes to sleep, you'd be an absolute idiot to try and wake them up, and Uncle Carl agrees with me
mm-hmm,
wholeheartedly. Uh, this is not a this is a dangerous proposition. You do not wake Aunt Donna lately. Uh, your life is in your own hands there. Um,
mm-hmm.
he's learned that. Um, I won't say the hard way, but the long way. Uh,
But I did get a time lapse video posted of the wood piece that I burned last night during Stupid O'Clock. That was one of the things I was working on.
mhm.
And yeah, I can tell I haven't burned in a while because today this muscle has been so tight that it keeps wanting to pinch that nerve.
Mm. Yep, I can well understand. Um, I was thinking last night during burning his yarn. Um, I've had a couple of people ask me
Mhm,
for Sam Brown belts because evidently I do them rather well in a design they've never seen before, and they
mhm,
can't afford otherwise. I'm going, it's just dog leashes and Dollar General belts with
mm,
extra holes spliced in them. You could do this yourself. I don't need to be selling this stuff. And they're going, but we don't know how to use a hole punch
mhm,
because you're an idiot. I mean, seriously. Farm Boy is really popular when it comes to
mhm,
stuff that should be easily done by other people. I mean, it's not like the wood burning takes actually it takes talent, it takes
mhm,
patience. It takes uh, concentration. You have to decide on a pattern. You have to decide on which part of the pattern is what you need to burn and which part of the pattern is what you don't.
mhm.
And in this
Well,
case, as in artwork, the white is just as important as
mhm,
the black.
yep,
You can't
yeah,
have
and
it you
it's
can't
it
have it otherwise.
yeah, and that's more so important with the folks that do it freehand.
Yeah.
You know, me, I print off my design first and then transfer the image over and just you know do what every good kindergartner does and color between the lines.
Well, I'm just kind of glad that we finally got it through to you that acetone is not one of the safest chemicals in the world to use.
Like I said on my show last night, I didn't have that readily available in the pre-cell phone era to read while I was sitting on the toilet. Back in the
I'm
day, I could have told you every ingredient to Febreze, but
well, yeah. I mean, that was there. uh, it was it was there next to the laundry equipment. You kind of needed to learn that one, but um, oh, thesis, yeah, coloring within the lines.
mm,
It's not the easiest thing in the world, and sometimes it's not the best thing in the world either. Coloring outside the lines
mhm.
can sometimes reveal that you have talents you have not yet explored. And you should,
Mhm.
because a talent unexplored is a talent wasted.
Now,
Uh,
Michaela was talking last night during my show that her husband had just gotten one of the laser engravers,
indeed.
and chatting with her earlier today, uh, I kind of helped them out with figuring out what file types because she asked me where I get my designs from. I'm like, well, I don't know really enough about it. Tell me like what software does it use to print? Something that I can look up and try and
Yeah.
determine. And it turns out the software that it uses, you can actually use the pictures that are in a SVG format to print from.
I'm not
Um,
familiar with SVG. Tell me about that.
so it's a picture format, kind of. It's something vector something. I can't remember what the actual
I don't care what
thing
it
stands
stands for.
for.
Tell me what it does.
Um, it's
Uh,
just another image type that you can use with a lot of like the crickets, the laser engravers. It basically has part of the code in it to tell. It's almost like a file for a laser printer. It tells it exactly like where the laser needs to burn at.
where it needs to
Um,
not burn at.
right.
Yeah.
Um, so I actually, since it can use SVG, I told her to use the same site that I use for my stuff, which is Creative Meadows. Because I think their thing is like $45 a year, and you have access to their full library.
To
Uh,
my very, very, very uneducated brain, it sounds like the same sort of thing my dad was using with the computer operated lathes
mhm,
and drill presses and things that he used to use in the machine shop. And he's going, I hate these things because he was always, oh, this is a thousandth of a micron off. I need to tighten that tolerance. He could
mhm,
do it by eye. I mean, this was a man you did not want to play pool against unless you were willing to give up your wallet, your clothes, and your firstborn child and your wife,
mhm.
because he would take them all. And believe me, Daddy was handsome enough to take them all. And you would go, "Thank you, sir, for the experience."
Yeah,
Uh,
but
but no, no. Uh,
I I did.
when it came to using complex machinery, he hated when everything went to computers. Although he did learn,
Mhm,
he did he did make it a point. It was a personal challenge for him to go. You know, I can do this by hand, but now there's this box I have to use. I
mhm,
hate the damn box, but this is how it works now and I'm
yep.
not going to retire. So let's make this box my bitch. And Daddy did. Um,
So I did warn her. I did tell her, warn her husband that when if he does start looking at like Facebook groups and stuff to join, to be careful which ones he joins, because a lot of the pyrography groups do not allow the laser printed uh, stuff in there, because they view it as it's all machine work, you know. Um, and yeah, our
Yeah.
voice on that, yeah. But
Uh,
because like some of the groups I'm in on Facebook, like I'm borderline with the way I do mine as to whether or not they really accept it,
mhm.
because I'm not freehanding it, or I'm not doing it the old way of, take your design, put a piece of graphite paper behind it, trace it all out, and then burn it.
Well,
But
I have actually run into, I don't know exactly what to call them, but they are basically Excel purists
yeah,
that are going, "Oh wait, you do something besides math with this?
hmm
It's only for spreadsheets." I'm going, "No, I've I've made drawing pads out of it. I
hmm
have made posters with it. I have I know how to make things that you in in all of your philosophies, Horatio, you never dreamed of that."
one of my favorite pictures I see go around Facebook occasionally, and it's been a while since I've seen it pop up. It's a picture of an Excel spreadsheet, and it's got a bunch of like X's of different colors in the boxes,
Yeah.
and the caption with it says, "I was talking to my grandma about her new computer the other day, and she asked me why I didn't tell her about the great knitting program on there."
Oh my God, I understand. I don't even have to see it. I understand. Yes,
She
the
was
way that
using
you could
the
do patterns on Excel to do knitting or
mhm,
crochet or uh, what do they call that? The one where you're making a picture with a needlework. No, I don't think needlework
not
is right.
embroidery. No, embroidery. Yeah, embroidery would be kind of like that.
Yeah, but it's the one where
I
you're
know what you're
doing.
talking about though. Because I actually looked at some of those kits when we were at Michael's the last time,
Yeah,
and I
it's
went,
the
I
one
don't
where
need
you're
another
doing
hobby.
like posters or paintings, but you're actually sewing to get the colors.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean, it's perfect for that.
hmm
Um, I've done
And then you
blueprints
change the color of the X to whatever color yarn you're going to be using for that part, and
and Bob's your uncle, or
yeah,
maybe your aunt in this case. Um, call call him Barbara. It doesn't matter. Um, it's a computer program. It doesn't give a damn what gender you assign it.
yep,
Yeah, I've used Excel to do uh, blueprints for a house, um, a, a bookshelf, a new desk for my office, and it's all just okay. I can draw a line here. I can draw a line here. I can do a measurement here. I can assign this particular measurement to this particular square, and I can even change the size of that entire row or that entire column
hmm
to match the relative measurement that I need for the actual wood I'm going to have to buy to put it together.
yep,
And it's like, um, yeah, it can do algebra. I don't need it to, but it can. And I have used that to earn a paycheck from time to time. But
hmm
it's a graphics program, basically. It's a kind of clunky graphics program, but once you learn how to use it, uh, it can do a lot of things you never expected it to be able to do.
Hmm.
About the only thing you can't do with it is get the grid small enough to where you can draw an angle or a curve. Because once you've got the grid that small, you can't see it anymore. The details are not there, and you have to enlarge it to be able to see those details, which loses the ability to do what you normally could in Paint or Paint 3D or uh, Krita or GIMP or a lot of other
Hmm.
uh, just straight up graphics programs. Um, oh my God, that reminds me, I've got to redo the damn 27-year badge that I've been using on the Aphelion um, covers
Yep.
this year to 28
Yep.
and redo the dates on that. I kind of like the badge. I don't know that I want a different background image, but I'm going to have to redo the numbers and everything on it. Um, oh, I was awarded number 4 in the top 10 e-zine cover artists.
Awesome.
I mean, seriously, I've been doing this out of necessity for an entire year now because I wouldn't let our previous guy use AI to do the covers.
Yeah.
I'm just going, sorry, that's a bridge too far. We're not going there. And here I've been doing this stuff the hard way, which is actually pretty frickin' easy.
Yeah.
It takes maybe 2 days to do an entire cover, and most of that is making sure I've got the graphics correct and got everything lined up and sized correctly
Hmm.
because that's the hardest part of trying to do a large sheet of graphics. You've got the background image. You've
Hmm.
chosen that. It's wonderful. Now you have to not screw that up by doing the actual pattern of the layout in a way that flows with the photograph. And yeah, thank you, Nick. Thank you,
Hmm.
Thesis. I'm just going. I'm astounded by this. And Aphelion has got um, 4 awards, maybe 5 awards this year from the um, um, Predators and Editors website. Uh, a lot of people did not know about it because Aphelion is at the unfortunately named ISP that gets attacked by foreign assholes that think because the country's name is in the ISP's name, it's got to be something connected to the government. Well, it's not connected to the government whatsoever, but
Hmm.
you're really screwing the rest of us up. And if it weren't for ndcd.org, I would be screwed. I would not have any international readers able to access anything that we did because the ISP has to cut off access to anybody outside the United States except for brief periods when they can give it a try and see when the attack bots come back.
Yeah. I'm
But,
just glad I was able to help with that. So
Oh my God, you saved my life right there. I was willing to pull my hair out because I didn't know. Uh, I, I've been with this company since 1995. I'm well established. I call them up. I say, "Look, yeah, it's Dan Hollifield," and they go, "Yes, sir. What do you need?" Uh,
Hmm.
uh,
Well, when your account number with them starts with like 000007, uh,
hey,
they
hey, let's
you're the
not talk
reason why
about my social security number, all right?
eh, you're the reason why they still have to keep the legacy server around to pull up your account. It was old enough they couldn't even transfer it to the new system.
They, they've actually copied it onto a thumb drive, and they're going, "This is getting big. We might have to get a bigger thumb drive." And I'm going, "Well, um, my buddy used to work for y'all," and they go, "Who's your buddy?" And I go, "Rob Wynn." And they go, "Oh, holy shit! He was our he was our absolute. If anything went wrong, call Rob."
Hmm.
Um, I mean, seriously, he was the web guru for thousands and thousands and thousands of websites, and he was pretty much on call 24/7. And then he goes, "I hate Atlanta. There's too much pine tree pollen. My wife
Hmm.
and I can't breathe here. We're tired of not being able to breathe. We're moving to Seattle." I'm going, "Buy an umbrella
Yep.
because you're going to need one. Uh, may not be pollen, but there's going to be rain." Um, and actually, Rob is still with us. He does background stuff at Aphelion.
Hmm.
He's responsible for um, updating and renewing and upgrading the the forums, chat stuff, whatever that program is. And it's a very finicky piece of programming, let me tell you. I couldn't
Hmm.
do it. I'd be afraid to even try. But Rob is right there. He just goes, I just heard about this new thing. Let me try that and we'll see if it works. And lo and behold, he makes it work even when it doesn't want to. That's a good programmer. He makes
Hmm.
it work when it doesn't want to. And Joe, I know you can understand that. It's like, that comma should be a end quote. Um, no, the code does not work the way it was supposed to work. Let's rewrite this code, and bingo, everything works. It's a, basically, um, I've created a Frankenstein, but if it works, don't touch it.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
actually looking at, and I need to talk with InMotion Hosting. And hey,
oh,
Grant.
hello, Grant. Nice to see you. I mean, it's nice to see Nick. It's nice to see Thesis. It's nice to see Grant. Um, at this time of night, it's nice to see anything outside of my eyelids. Um, no, no, Grant, don't worry. Uh, you have uh, theater security stuff that you do for a living, as far as I understand.
Hmm.
So, yeah. Oh, wow, thank you. Um,
Nice.
My copy of um, League of Cryptids Volume 2 is being mailed, and I am very excited because that's really good. I've got I think it's the um, graphic novel version of Beowulf. I'm looking forward to getting the prequel and sequel when that GoFundMe goes live. Don't tell my wife I'm spending money on comic books. Seriously, um, oh Grant, why would I not enjoy it? You're a very, very good artist and you're a very good storyteller.
Hmm.
And that is what I look for in graphic arts. This is why I was such a fan of Ron Goulart. I mean, seriously, if there there are people in this world that are made to do sequential art, and they just they live it and breathe it, and they sometimes step outside of that wheelhouse and do something else that's equally as amazing in just written word. And I've got like 4 feet of Ron Goulart novels that are only about 200 pages long. And I'm going, this is some of the funniest shit I've ever read in my life because the man had a sense of humor. He's no longer with us. I really regret that, but I never got a chance to meet him, never got a chance to shake his hand, never got a chance to thank him for all the entertainment he gave me. But I learned about him when I first went to college and went to the college bookstore, and I realized they got more than textbooks here. They've got stuff by this guy named Larry Niven. I need all of those. Uh, yes, I need all of those. And Larry has thanked me for being a fan. Um, the late great Dr. Purnell has looked at a book he and Jerry wrote together to autograph and went to correct a typo and found out I had already corrected it because he posted this paragraph right here, this page right here, this is wrong. It needs to be this word, not that word. And I went in and I inked it in so that it was correct. And he goes, "You are my kind of people." And he initialed the page to approve my actual correction of a typo the printer made. And I'm going, I am not worthy. Um, it's like Alice Cooper telling you, you know, you're not a bad guitar player. I wouldn't
Mhm.
hire you, but you're not bad.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'm actually looking at because the renewal for NDCD's server space comes up this year. So I'm actually looking at switching over. I'm still going to be with InMotion, but I'm thinking about moving from their WordPress hosting over to their virtual private server hosting, which is I would lose the unlimited storage, but I don't think I'm pushing. Well, I know I'm not pushing the 260 gigs that I'm looking at right now. Um, because it's I think my backup is only like 10 gigs. So, and
Mm,
I'm just now hitting that threshold. So,
um, my backups are um, 5 and 10 terabytes. Uh, but that's because money means nothing to me. I mean, what I need is what I need, and I'm going to get it
Yeah.
by hook or by crook. And I do need to address a concern here. I'm not going to highlight the comment, Nick.
Mhm.
Um, uh, I am who and what I am, and I'm very careful to be humble about that. And I have no powers to abuse. The only power I have is to say something that other people might read.
Hmm.
That's it. I have no influence. I have nothing anybody would covet or object to. Um, I have a very, very strict, um, I hate to call it rule of law about myself, but it's back when I was in college, I said, look, I don't have any morals whatsoever, but I have a very complex system of manners. People confuse the two, but uh, there's rules when you walk into someone's house.
Hmm.
There's rules when someone walks into your own house. There's rules about interacting with people in a public situation. And there are rules when you are interacting with people in an online situation. And the biggest rule is don't be an asshole. Uh, you're not the be all and end all. I'm not the be all and end all. I don't have any, well, I started to say I don't have any influence, but actually, as a publisher of Aphelion, I have a great deal of influence.
Hmm.
It's not something publicly acknowledged. It's not something I need to wear a name tag for. But when people find out Aphelion is mine, they go, "Oh, holy shit! I didn't realize that rag was still online." I'm going, yeah, well, I'm still paying the bills. Um, doesn't cost that much, and I can. Yeah, thesis. Thank you. Uh, that's a good. That's good. Don't be an asshole equals be excellent to one another. Yes. Um, and uh, well, I clicked on it. Where did it go? There you go. Delightful to hear someone else who understands these things. Well, I I have been around for a little while. Uh, yeah. Um, you pretty much have to be willing to grant other people um their deserved dignity, and if you think they deserve it, their dignity beyond what they think they deserve. I mean, okay, here we go. Jimmy Carter, not a really good president, not a really effective president, but one of the best human beings that has ever walked the planet. I am very sad to lose this man, but I'm very glad that he will see the afterlife he believed in, and know that he will be well received there. Because he not only talked the talk, but he walked the walk. Excuse me for a second. The man was
Mhm.
an excellent example of what a decent human being should be.
That's true.
I may not, you know, I'm not that pure and unspoiled, um, but I'm not required to be. I am the hero of my own story. Whether that makes me Harry Potter or Voldemort, that's up to other people. But, I believe in the goodness of humanity, and I embrace the excellence that gets things done for the benefit of people. And nobody ever asks me these things. It's not like I'm doing an interview show. I'm just going, here I am, not letting Joe talk, and I should shut the fuck up. But yeah, I'm just this guy. I'm fallible. Um, I drink too much. I smoke too much. I flirt
Well,
with any pretty girl that walks by. Um, I'm nowhere near perfect. Um,
I say
but
no one is near perfection unless you're a engineer in the testing department of NDOT, and then you think can walk on water, change it from water to wine, and everything else. Um,
um, uh, well, I can change brandy into port, but that's not a talent that many people really need. Um, you got to start off with something with the alcohol content first before you can go from one to the other. Water into wine. I can change um, peaches and muscadimes into something that deer get drunk off of, and mostly that's because I'd leave it alone till it ferments on the damn tree. But hey, yeah, we have deer come up into our yard and eat my muscadimes, and then stagger off into the underbrush drunk as lords. Uh, no, Nick, I don't grotesquely underestimate my value. And no, no, I know exactly who and what I am. That's what makes me so comfortable
mm,
being me. Um, I'm fallible. I'm not perfect. I have my own standards that I live by, and I set pretty high ones for myself. But if I fall short of them, I realize that, and I try and do better. It's a
mm,
human thing. Everybody has this. Some of us don't recognize it. Some of us don't act on it, which we should, but everybody's different. Everybody's got their own um, points of view. Everybody's got their own system of measurement. You just
mm.
I'm just this guy. Um, there's a lot of stuff I want to accomplish. I wish I would quit twiddling my thumbs and get around to doing. And I'm very ashamed of myself for not getting it done quicker. But life is an ongoing process, and there's a lot of things that don't happen on the
Mm-hmm.
screen. There's a lot of stuff out there outside the office door that I have to take care of. Um, Tomorrow's going to be a good example of that. Taking the recycling off, taking
Mm-hmm.
Lindsay to a couple of stores where she's going to spend entirely too much money, but I don't care because I get to spend a little bit too. Uh, and what the fuck? It doesn't matter. I mean, you can't take it with you, but like King Tut, you can be buried with it. Uh, I don't give a damn about gold. I just want to get my artwork and my writing done. That if I don't, I've left notes where
Mm-hmm.
other people can try and figure out what the hell I was doing and go, this is a challenge. How can we do this without getting burned at the stake? Uh, Good luck with that. uh, there's not entirely too much humility on the screen. This is me, Nick. You know me. I mean, we haven't met yet, but this is me. Um,
I can confirm this is him. Uh,
and you
we
have
have.
met me in person.
Yep.
Yeah. Um, I'm a drunk. I'm a womanizer. I eat too much. I drink too much. I swear too much. And I have exactly zero problems with any of those things. Uh, I am devoted to my wife, but pretty girl walks by, I'm going to look at her. And yes, Dawn, I am thinking of you right this moment with your hair coming down out of the braid and going, whew. Um, Excuse me, but
Mm-hmm.
there's entirely too much beauty in this world for me to go, I possess all that I need right here. And I'm going, sorry, there's a whole lot more to enjoy. Just keep your hands to yourself. Uh, don't tell me no lies and keep your hands to yourself. Um, God, this has gotten entirely too psychological. It's a good thing Carl isn't here. He'd be trying to uh, get me committed to something, probably a subscription to Reader's Digest. But Joe, please talk for a while. I'm monologuing.
I'm I'm just sitting here going back and forth between a few screens and uh, actually picked another one of your writers' challenges to do a short story with.
Oh, which
That I
one?
it is. Let me pull it up here on the other
Don't give
screen.
me the number. Just tell me the line. Uh,
Weaponless, I faced down the slathering carnivore that had jumped into the light of my campfire.
oh shit, that's a good one. Uh, I don't believe I actually thought of that, but obviously I did. That is a very, very good one. It's not been used very often. I don't think you would probably be the first person to ever use that one. That would be
Hmm.
and knowing your writing style, that would be not only off the wall, but really entertaining. Uh, because you have this way of you start off a story and you think it's going one particular way, and then you go, "Ooh, I'm going to flip this on its head," and you go, "Let's flip this on its head," and I'm going, "Oh my God, this guy's got an imagination that works
Yep.
like Lewis Carroll. I do not know what's going on, but slathering carnivore. No, no, no. Uh, ah, oh, oh. No, it was not my first wife. It was not my second wife. Uh, and handed your lovely wife a cup of coffee. No, my lovely wife is in bed, not listening
Hmm.
to my ravings at the moment. Thank God. Um, Otherwise,
No,
it'd
but
be
if I could figure out how to work that line into the story as the ending, I would. Uh,
you handed your lovely wife a cup of coffee. Um, okay, here's how you do it. You get all the way to the end. You go, here, baby, I made you a cup of coffee. Now, excuse me for a minute. I've got to slaughter this slathering carnivore. Bitch has got on my last nerves. Slash! Um, and this gives you an insight into my mind as a writer. This is the way my brain works. Um, well, the writers' prompts themselves
mm,
gives you an insight into the way my brain works. These are supposed to be prompts to generate stories in someone else's mind because I came up with them, and I'll be damned if I could write them, but I'll be damned if they'll go to waste. So what do we got here?
so
Um,
this is the start of it. This is the first paragraph going in. It says there were many stories about a ghost in these woods. Much like the Bermuda Triangle, many people entered these woods, but very few came back out. The few that did came back out taught the I need to reword that. Holy shit. Um the few that did come back out talked about a monster in the woods that moved like a ghost. They said that you could feel a presence watching you, but no matter which way you looked, you would never see it until it wanted you to see it. Search parties would go looking for the missing people during the day, but all they would ever find is a destroyed camp with the occasional trail of blood. The camps were scattered all over the woods, but no camp would ever be attacked within 100 feet of the perimeter.
that is a very, very good setup. I mean, seriously, that is a very, very good setup. I like that. Um, Nick has to go to bed.
Yep.
Um,
Good night, Nick.
Good night, Nick. Yes, you have a show tomorrow morning. I'll be asleep during it, but sorry. Um,
I'll be haunting him in the background like usual.
well, I'm retired. I stay up way too late. I sleep way too late. My wife complains that I don't get enough work done. I'm supposed to be hanging a new um, chandelier over the kitchen table. The kitchen table that I built out of scraps left over
Mm,
from a coffin shipping crate. Not a coffin, but the
mm,
shipping crate for a coffin. And I do believe I did a beautiful job with it. It served me well for many, many years.
mm,
The table itself, three bench seats around it that really deserve good cushions to sit on, but um, it wasn't until I married Lindsay that I actually um, finished working on it, stained the wood, put trim on it, painted things up. I mean, oh God, I I borrowed from my college education in art history class. There was a fellow who designed furniture in England in the 1800s that was very, very popular. And he had a paint scheme that was dominant color, pastel of that color, half tone of that color, with wood stained in between. And it's absolutely gorgeous. And that's exactly what I did. I think his name was White. Not sure. Um, because there were several furniture and interior designers that we studied that had not exactly overlapping styles, but they were um, contemporaneous. They were the same time. Uh, some of them were really, I mean, Adam, uh, Queen Anne furniture with the funky
Mm-hmm.
knobs and brackets on the drawers and things. Um, some of them became stylistically standard. Hebel White.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's all these things, and I had to study them all because I had to pass a class on them. Um, I did, but it wasn't easy because there were so many. It was so dark. There were so many. Uh, it probably would have been easier for me to seduce the professor, but uh, unfortunately, I wasn't his type. So now the color theory teacher, I really probably could have because she was hot. But no, the history teacher was kind of uh, dry and boring. And here I'm going to show you a bunch of slides, and you're going to go to sleep, and I'm going to test you on it. Um, Try and keep up. And well, yeah, he did put everybody in the class to sleep, and then we had to go to a part of the art building that was just made for these slideshows of different professors' classes that you could just you flip through and go, oh yeah, this is that one, this is that one, this is that one, this is that one. Oh, that's some marvelous wainscoting on that wall. It's not part of what I need to know, but I love the way it looks. And you just take notes, and then you go take the test and pass or fail. You're fine. The first piece of artwork of mine that got displayed in the art building uh, foyer was a scene from Star Wars. It was an X Fighter going into the trench, and it was a plaster casting I carved, and it had X-wing and a TIE fighter in 3D coming out of the surface. And one of the professors walked by. It wasn't in one of his classes yet, but I would be later. He walked by and he looked at it. I was standing around waiting on a class to start, and I saw him. He just walked by and he just looked at it. He leaned in. He saw all the detail and then leaned back out. He goes, "Oh shit, we got one of those." And walked off into his office. And I'm going, That may not be a good sign. Uh, no, no. There was another art class, another professor, not that one. Um, they're going, hey, I want drawings of what you think about when you're reading different books and things. And I was drawing stuff that would pretty well illustrate uh, novels by Larry Niven.
Hmm.
Uh, and the teacher goes, I know what you're doing here, and this is really close to what the guy said, but I think you've got your proportions wrong. It should be too small for you to see that kind of detail. And I just look at him and I go, you know, you're right. But if I'd backed off a little bit and made it correctly proportioned, there wouldn't be any detail large enough for you to see.
Hmm.
And he goes, well, you got me there. Uh, color theory teacher comes in first day, says, I don't give A's. There were 4 people in a class of 30 that did not get an A out of that
Hmm.
class. And she's going, oh my Lord. Wait a minute. I've got this monochrome lens that I will look at stuff. This is color theory. You've got to be. She goes, you can see the difference between these colors that you mixed. And I go, well, I could have done like 2, maybe 3 in between these, but I thought they were a little bit too subtle to represent on a piece of canvas or a piece of paper. She's
Hmm.
going, I don't believe you. You get an A anyway, but I don't believe you. There's no way a human being can see this many damn colors. I'm going, tell that to my mom, whose artwork is hanging in museums.
Hmm.
Um, I had not only uh, art in college, but I had art classes at home
Hmm.
because my mom, her first job was colorizing black and white photos at a photography studio in the 1950s.
Okay.
And she has been painting, sculpting, and God only knows what else she's into. I mean, she's even got um, what do you call the thing that you bake clay in? Uh,
Kiln.
that's it. She's even got one of those in the basement.
Hmm.
For she will paint something and fire it up in the kiln and do the glaze and
Yeah.
whatnot. And one of the hardest things she ever got through to me on was it's called glass painting,
Hmm.
where normal painting you do the background and then you do all the foreground on top of that. Glass painting is just exactly the opposite. You do all of the foreground and then you paint what is visible of the background behind your foreground stuff. It's completely out of my wheelhouse. I've
Hmm.
never attempted it. I would like to, but I mean, mom took a year to do one pane of glass, one ordinary window pane of glass, like 8.5 by 11.
Hmm.
It's gorgeous. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, I know how you did that, and I saw you do it, but I don't know that I could. And she's going, "Oh, it's easy. You just think backwards." And I'm going,
Yeah,
"Uh,
I can't even do my damn ABCs backwards. What do you mean just think backwards?
it's mom. She's a walking contradiction. I mean, seriously." She drives down the road. She thinks freight trains will get out of her way when she wants to go across the tracks. Uh, and they do.
Hmm?
I mean, seriously, why West Sally? Trains get out of her way.
my one of my buddies, his mom, when she went to get her, or was his mom or his grandma? I think it might have been his. No, it was his mom. She went to get her driver's license, and she went out and did the drive exam, and the instructor says, "Okay, go ahead and parallel park here." So she just it was a spot where she could pull up behind, like beside another vehicle and back in without another vehicle behind her. She just pulls straight in. And he's like, "No, you need to parallel park." She's like, "No, I don't." He goes, "What do you mean you don't? That's part of the test." She goes, "There's not a spot that I can pull straight into. I don't need to go shopping that day. I'll go back home." He's like, "What?" She goes, "Ever since I've been driving, before I had to come and get this license, if I pulled up and there wasn't a spot that I could just pull straight up to, I turned around and went home."
Safer that way.
She
Um,
passed. He ended up passing her.
he ended up passing her because he didn't want to risk
Yeah.
testing her further. She might have been toting a gun. I mean, seriously, uh, Mama does, and I go. I feel safer about mom, and I feel less secure about the rest of the fucking world, knowing my mom's got a 357 in her purse. Uh,
Hmm.
fuck with the old gal at your own uh, risk. I mean, seriously. And she's one of the best shots in the family. Uh,
It's one of my
she
favorite lines from The Blind Side is where the one gang member looks at her and goes, "What are you packing in there? It's a little Saturday night special?" She goes, "Yep, and it shoots just fine every other night of the week too."
well, um, mom used to go deer hunting with dad,
Mm.
and he got mad because she got the best shots before he could line up one. Mom was a Kentucky coal miner's daughter. Dad was a Tennessee blacksmith's son.
Hmm.
So he got really good with tools. Uh, Mama got really good at bringing home food. Um, parse that if you want to. I mean, seriously, um, could um, plant radishes and um, field dress a deer at the same damn time without losing a beat.
Hmm.
Um, and
Oh.
this is my family heritage. And people go, "Why are you so weird, Dan?" And I go, "I don't know. Uh, just lucky, I guess. Cause
Oh. Apparently Bob Euchre passed away.
oh, that's terrible. Well, I mean, he did have a long and glorious life. I mean, well,
Yeah.
glorious for a TV host kind of life, but
Yeah. 90 years old.
man had a good long run.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, I hope I get that chance myself. Um, hate it for his family, but Jesus. Honor to the man. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously. He did what he wanted to do. He made a living. He put his kids through school, kept groceries on the table, kept a roof over everybody's head. And what else can you aspire to in this day and age? I mean, seriously, when I was a young'un, we just wanted to survive World War III,
Hmm.
which didn't happen on schedule like we were told, but kind of glad it didn't. Um, Mad Max is way overrated for what would have actually happened. But oh, you want to know who's going to survive a nuclear war?
Besides the Twinkies and the cockroaches.
Go to Appalachia and see the people that never come out of the woods. They don't care.
Hmm.
It's not going to impact them at all. So what? The deer have 5 extra legs. Them's
That's just
good
more
eating.
meat.
Really. Uh, the damn bear's the size of a badger. We'll we'll make a pet out of it. It's so cute.
Hmm.
Uh, doesn't matter if it's got 27 legs and a tail 5 feet long. It's cute. Look at it. Uh, and then again, don't go fishing because them fish is bigger than your damn boat. And
Hmm.
they call it crappie because if that's all you can catch, that's what your luck has been. Really crappy. Um,
Hmm.
but they can be prepared to taste very well in a skillet
Hmm.
if you've got a local blacksmith that can make a 27-foot skillet for you. Um, this is the way my imagination works, folks. Welcome to my mind. This is what I live with. This is what my wife lives with. And it's no wonder she's always telling me, shut the fuck up. Um,
And most of our viewers here have read my stories on a Aphelion, so they know how my mind works.
sick and twisted. I love it. Uh, I really do. Uh,
Oh.
oh, okay. I just had a thought. I'm going to treat it gently because it's in a strange place. Uh, would Trey like to write a story?
I actually think she's working on one because I've bugged her about that before,
I
and
I
I
think
think.
she's a very, very creative individual. It might
Mm,
not be in a genre that I appreciate, but I would very much enjoy reading something she's written
mm,
because I like the way her mind works. I like the um, sequential patterns that she goes through, and that's why she's so good at the crochet
mm,
because she thinks in logical patterns.
yeah,
And storytelling sometimes can be logical patterns rendered into verbiage rather than yarn.
yeah, and I think that's why I've gotten better with writing over the years because
Mhm.
I was horrible at writing back in school. Um, I was horrible at writing, but the sequential patterns thing also kind of ties back to coding,
Mhm.
you know, and that's I think doing the coding has helped with my writing,
Well,
to
yeah,
be able to
you have to close that bracket before you can go on to the next piece. Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're going to throw an error code, or it's just going to go. We're not sure exactly what you're telling us what you want us to do, and
Or it's going to act like a Microsoft Word document where you have a picture, you add a single space, and all of a sudden you have, 587
37
blank.
blank pages after that,
Yeah,
and
and you can't find the damn fucking picture. Uh,
it vanished. Um, I've used Word before. I've actually written training manuals in Word that had thousands of pictures. I know exactly what you're talking about. Oh, one single extra spacebar hit, and
hmm
it went from 37 pages to 3,000, and I'm going,
Yeah,
this is not what I meant. Um,
and that's why whenever I do training manuals, I use Microsoft Publisher. Uh,
uh, but as your editor, as your publisher so far, and yeah, you can make it to the big time. You really can. Believe me, I have confidence in you. Your stories are very, very easy to edit. I mean, every once in a while, I'll
mhm,
go through a manuscript and I go, Aunt Donna's going to hate me, but this needs another comma here. And yeah,
the
I'm a big fan of the
Oxford
uh,
comma.
Oxford comma. Yeah, where you continue a phrase with
hmm
spaces to breathe while you're reading it, and they're delineated by a comma.
hmm
Whereas strict constructionists, we go, no, no, no. If you get to a second comma, that needs to be a full stop and another sentence started.
hmm
And one of my favorite writers said exactly that. He said, look, the way to write stories that flow rapidly, where the reader is turning pages, turning pages, turning pages, turning, is to write short, sharp sentences.
hmm
Not to write like Jules Verne, where you have a 27-page sentence that
Yeah.
ends in a question mark that you didn't expect when the sentence started. Just describe what you see, period. Describe what your hero is doing, period. Describe what your hero is thinking, period. Make it short, make it sharp, make it punchy, and your reader cannot stop flipping pages because they're into it by then.
hmm
If they're going to read your stuff, they're going to read all of your stuff, and it's going to be this action style. He said, "No, I don't write science fiction. I don't write fantasy. I write action stories." Well, yeah, you did write science fiction.
hmm
You did write fantasy, but yeah, you did write action stories because there's nothing else in the stories but the action, and it's very. You could almost instantly translate those to comic book strips because it's
hmm
all right there. Everything is up front. Everything is clearly explained. And if you can find an artist that can handle that,
hmm
turn out decent artwork, you're in business. I mean, Grant impresses the fuck out of me. Uh,
Yes.
I mean, seriously, um, sequential art is one of those very, very challenging things. I cannot do it. I admire those that can. I can appreciate the work that goes into it, but it's not something I'm comfortable with. It's way out of my wheelhouse. I might be able to script something that an artist could go through and do, but no, no, no. It's like, well, Grant and Mike Jimmy, they're
Hmm.
both on this other plane of perception that I cannot get to. They see the way the sequence goes, they see the way the story flows, they
Hmm.
see this picture has to follow this picture ad infinitum, and they're just going to town on it, and I'm going, I am jealous, gentlemen. Um, Wish I could do that. It's not in one of the talents I possess. I admire you. My hat is off to you. Let me hand you some money. Uh,
One of the things I've been thinking about doing is going through and picking out about 10 or 12 of the narrative hooks and writing, short stories for each one. And after, if they, pass the muster for Aphelion after having them published there, taking those and just making like one short story book out of those.
it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Um, for a minute there, I was afraid you were going to take several of the narrative hooks and make them into one story. And I'm going,
Oh, that
dude,
would be interesting with a few of
that,
those.
that that's going to be really, uh, you really want to make me look like shit, don't you? Uh,
Talk
I
talk
could
about
I
taking a
could have done
story and
that myself, but no.
talk about taking a story and flipping it on its end at flipping it over at the end. Uh Especially just combining the narrative hooks of, and I'll just kind of pick a few that I'm looking at right now. Hell opened up and spat out a hero, with most people never notice the weirdness all around them. And oh, where's the other one at? I just saw it because I just did the story on it. Um, oh, the one for finding new ways to screw things up.
Yeah, no,
You
I
know,
didn't. I didn't know there was a brand new way to screw things up, but I found one.
yeah,
Um, but I
just
paraphrased because I don't have the page open, so I don't know
yeah,
what I originally said back in the 70s. Um, um, oh
yeah,
yeah,
just taking those three and trying to make a story together with those three narrative hooks would be not impossible, but
it. Well, if you used them for the opening line of different chapters, it'd be one hell of a story.
and then end it with, it's not enough to succeed, you have to survive and get home again too. Uh
That's yeah. That one. That one has been used several times in different, entirely different ways. It,
mhm.
it that's the nice thing about the narrative hooks. No two writers approach it in the same direction twice in a row. I mean,
Yeah.
you can write one story with this narrative hook, and then when you're through, you can go back to the same one and write a totally different story that has nothing to do with your first one. And it's, yeah, new ways to screw things up is is how he came up with Jeff. Yes, indeed.
You
Uh,
you start the final chapter with it's not enough to succeed, you have to survive and get home again too, and end it with a hearty see you later. The man in the trench coat jumped off the roller coaster and vanished in a soundless flash of light 200 feet above the ground. No one was going to believe this one.
I actually came up with that one while I was on a roller coaster at Six Flags over Georgia, 200 feet in
Nice.
the air. I'm going, oh my God, what happened if some noir detective jumped off the damn thing and just vanished before he hit the ground? And I'm going, I can't write that, but somebody needs to have the chance to do it. Jesus. Um, um, for that one, I kind of, I, I would kind of write it as if it were um, a Humphrey Bogart movie,
Mhm.
but then I can't write Humphrey Bogart all that well. It probably in midstream changed to Nick and Nora Charles, who I can write really well.
I
Screwball
love
comedy I can do. Um,
I love the Thin Man movies.
oh yeah, me too. Um, there's a clip on YouTube called "Alcohol Moments" of Nick and Nora getting absolutely snockered, and just what they. I quote it all the time. There's one line in there. I go, "Y- you have the most interesting friends," and I go, "Yeah, I kind of
Mhm.
do." Um, thank you, dear. Um, is this my drink? Well, what are you drinking? It goes rye, and I go, "Yep, that's yours. Would you like me to refill it for you?" Uh, it's Lindsay and I have a whole lot of fun quoting movie lines to one another, and it's a shorthand way of communicating things that we may not want other people to realize we're actually talking about.
Mhm.
But I mean, Thin Man movies, Cesar Romero playing a not very nice guy who isn't the Joker, that's got to be one of those things that you look at and you go, ooh, that could be sick and twisted if we really wanted it to.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, just a gigolo. Um,
Yeah, I've been wanting to get another book out because I do have one now, which is basically retellings of things I've seen on the job sites.
how to play in traffic and survive.
Yeah,
Of
yeah, that falls into the it's not enough to succeed, you have to survive and get home again too. Uh,
I would start it off with that line actually, and then go on from there. Um, no
uh,
shit, there it was. Here comes a here comes a damn car in the passing lane, which is
it,
blocked off because it's construction, and they're going through. And how many barrels did they take out before they hit the one that had a concrete block in the middle of it? I don't know. Let us count the ways that is stupid.
Which falls under the number 11. It's difficult to invent a new way to screw up, but somehow I managed it.
There's no possibility that is not covered. I mean, seriously, I'd like to write another 30 or 40 of them. And believe me, I did not have an even 42, but Richie came up with 2 more that I really like. And Advanced Frogger Techniques for the Modern Construction Worker, Volume 2. Thesis, this is why I love you so much. Your mind is just right there. You're not ashamed of it. You don't have any reason to be. You're just in the moment and you go. This is why I would never pick up a sword and face you because, God damn, you'd be formidable. Of course, on my own part, I'd be the untutored beginner that's dangerous because they don't know what the rules are. And they're just kind of going, pointy end goes in the other guy, right?
Actually, I think that's how Nick starts off the simple sword. Pointy end goes in the other guy.
I've got that.
I'm pretty sure it's in there somewhere. It may not be the first thing that he says, but I'm fairly certain that is actually in the simple sword.
And thank you, Thesis. I love you too. This is the only way I'm dangerous is because the way my mind works. It's deceptively simple, but at the same time, it is entirely Rube Goldberg. I can think of very simple ways to do things in a very complex manner, and you might not think that Ewoks with ropes on tree trunks are going to be dangerous to a walking tank, but believe me, they are. That much weight at that speed hitting that mass is going to go, should have parked that sucker outside the forest.
Pop can.
Yeah, really. I know just exactly how much pressure it takes to crush that aluminum. Or as I told somebody before, my dad worked in Oak Ridge building toys for nuclear physicists who actually built atomic bombs. He was not alive at that time, but later on, they were finding larger and larger toys they needed. And Dad was a machinist, and you gave him a blueprint in a machine shop and a pile of metal, and Bob's your uncle. He's got whatever it is you want right there. Later on in life, he probably violated the Secrets Act that he had signed, but he told me that his shop, and he in particular, made parts that would be assembled into the lunar rovers that are still on the moon right now.
Oh, wow.
I mean, he didn't design the damn things. He was just handed blueprints. He made parts. They got put into a dune buggy that went to the moon. He had no control over it. He had no idea what was going on. Um, Late in his life, he was suffering from Alzheimer's. He did not know what he was allowed to say and what he wasn't allowed to say. Um, he probably shouldn't have told me that. It was probably still classified that Oak Ridge lab made those parts.
Yeah.
Then again, it's a fucking dune buggy. I don't know why that would be top secret, except the U.S. government is stupid and always has
Yeah.
been. You know, these are the things you grow up with, especially knowing that I had watched every rocket launch from as soon as I could watch rocket launches and understand what was going on, which was about 1960. So a lot of the Mercury, all the Gemini, all the Apollo, everything since then, uh, yeah, I understand the science involved. Uh, I couldn't do the science involved, but I understand it. Um,
Hmm.
Physics is hard. Um, but, you know,
Ah, got like a hair or something in the back of my throat. Damn it.
it really, it really all boils down to an object at rest cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
Well, if you use enough force, it might be stopped a couple of blocks back from where it started. But oh, if anybody doesn't understand where that particular quote came from, it was the animated version of The Tick, which is a
Oh God, I haven't seen that in years.
oh, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. It was so absurdist and uh, counterintuitive. There was a logic to it, but it wasn't a logic a Vulcan could understand. Uh, it, it, it you had to believe in nonsense to be able to understand the logic, and it's just these things are just beautiful moments in people's lives.
Hmm.
Um, some of us remember them. Some of us have yet to discover them. Some of us were the wrong age to experience them. But, you know, these things they happen. It's not it's not important in the grand scheme of things. I mean, important in the grand scheme of things is live your life, do what you want to do, don't hurt anybody, be happy. This is my philosophy of life.
Hmm.
Um, and the important parts are don't hurt anybody and be happy. Well, don't hurt anybody unnecessarily because sometimes people make it necessary for you to do things you really wish you didn't have to do.
Hmm.
But in order to protect the people you love, you have to be willing to do things that you would really like to never have to do. I'm sure Thesis can identify with this. If somebody was threatening Foxy, he'd be the first one there to make a fist and make that fist do work.
Mhm.
Um, if somebody was threatening Lindsay, uh, my biggest problem will be, which gun do I need? Because I'm a redneck. I mean, seriously, that is a problem here. Which what I need the right tool for the right job. Um, is this long distance or close up? Um,
Mhm.
is this revolver or is this a rifle? Um, no, I can't use that rifle. It's too long distance. Um, probably have to get the Thompson and hope that they stay within 50 yards. Otherwise, I'm going to endanger innocent people on either side of me. There,
Mhm.
where I live, there's only one direction it's safe to fire an actual deer rifle, and that's straight back into the woods where there's no houses,
Mhm.
nothing for a mile. I know this. I know where it is. I know where the far end is.
Mhm.
Um, but on either side, there's neighbors.
I I feel bad for anybody who ever decides to try and break into our house, because the first thing they'll see if they enter our bedroom is a fat naked white man leveling a 410 at them that stays beside the bed. And
Yes, indeed.
if that's not traumatic enough after the blast goes off, which will wake my wife from
Oh
her
God,
slumber,
you woke Trey. My God, they're gonna die. Uh, I mean,
who
Trey is
has
going to kill them. Uh,
who has a machete on her side of the bed. So you will have a very pissed off white woman coming at you in her pajamas with a machete.
knowing full well that you disturbed her sleep,
Hmm.
and now you must pay. That's kind of like um, the stay. I did not ask for you to fall out. The Crocodile Dundee line.
Hmm.
That's not a knife. This is,
This is a
believe it or
knife.
not, you see this sheath?
Hmm.
I made that.
That's nice.
I mean, I made it to match my cowboy holster for my um, 45,
Hmm.
and I actually had to sharpen this damn thing so the blade was narrow enough to fit inside the sheath without cutting the threads that sewed it
Hmm.
together, because I did not know how much extra to add on the edge
Hmm.
to make it wide enough. And first time I put the knife in, it's like, oh shit, I just undid all of that beautiful sewing I did with an awl of all things. Not even a sewing machine, just kind of
Hmm.
with your hand. And I go, woo. Well, I can't make the sheath any wider. Um, what can I do? I go, okay, let's just sharpen the blade until it's thinner. And I have actually chopped down trees with that thing. I mean, 8-inch trees.
Hmm.
Uh, I'm sure my parents would have been horrified if they'd found out that was what I was doing. But I was out there going, okay, let's do this same way a beaver does. Whack, 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 crash. Um,
Fuck beavers. We're down to the last 15 minutes.
I'd really rather not. Uh,
We've had an issue with a beaver at the park, so
oh yeah. There were some fields that we rented that they had a pond way downhill, and they'd come up to the soybeans and cut the soybeans off and take them back to the dam and weave them in. And I'm going, enterprising, but no, this is not acceptable. We need this for money, for food money, for groceries.
well, the little bastard chewed one. I got a phone call that it was laying on. Luckily, the actual power lines are across the street. This was just hanging on a Comcast cable line, so no risk of electrical shock or anything. But so got that one down. Then a couple weeks later, I get a phone call. Hey, you got another tree down at the park. Son of a bitch. All right. Go out there in the middle of a snowstorm. And of course, I thought my little 4-inch chainsaw was charged. It wasn't. So next day, I had it charged up and had my coworker meet me out there, and we got it because he's better at cutting shit down than I am. But when he was in maintenance at NDOT, they called him the tree guy because he could sit there. They'd give him the chainsaw and go, okay, we're clearing off trees along this sound wall on this stretch of the road. Go to work. And he'd sit there and go, okay, he'd look at the cluster and go, we're going to drop this one here, this one here, this one here. And he'd drop this one here, this one here, this one here. And I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is up. He did aim for the crew leader occasionally.
I'm sure the crew leader deserved it at that particular moment in time.
Well, he told him to move. There was one time the guy's standing there. He's getting ready to cut down the last tree. He'd already cut down the two that went off to the side. He was cutting down the one that was going to come down center line. And he looks at him and goes, Steve, you need to move. Oh, won't get me from here. He goes, Steve, you need to move. I'll just chop it down. Okay.
You're the boss.
Yep. Good thing Steve ran about 15, 20 feet because it would have landed right on top of him if he hadn't.
This is going right where you're standing, motherfucker. Move.
Right.
Yeah. People can be so stubborn when they think they're invincible. What is it about authority that makes people think they're invincible? I don't understand that.
He was one of those crew leaders that thought he was always right.
Oh.
And it's like there's a reason why they're sending this guy out to cut down these trees and allowing him to take home the blade, the chains, to sharpen himself.
Because nobody else could do it to his satisfaction.
Pretty much. Well, actually, I don't think anybody else knew how to do it.
I know how. It's just, it ain't easy. If you're going to sharpen a chainsaw blade, you got to be really patient, and you got to know your geometry. This is not something you can do at random.
He grew up on a farm. And,
there you go.
And around farms and everything else. So, that was one of the things he learned at a young age. But then when he came over to construction, he turned into I call him Captain Concrete just because of one of the pictures I took of him. But uh, he was
This shit
we
ain't
were
no good. We got to rip it up and pour it again. Uh,
well. He caught on to concrete very very quickly, and
that's not easy.
I either call him Captain Concrete or I call him the Rain Man of Concrete because he'll sit there. I mean, most of us, once you've been around concrete long enough, you can see it coming down the chute and go, okay, that's about a 4.5 inch slump. You can tell what the slump is just coming down the chute. This motherfucker will walk over to the bucket that you just filled up for your sample, grab a hunk of it out and go, kind of roll it around in his hand and go, yeah, your yield's a little low. It still passes, but it's going to be like a 0.997. And he'll go over to the air bucket after you've got it all struck off and everything, kind of slap the top of it, see the stick, how like sticky it is, and go, yeah, your air's good though. It's going to come out at about a 7.5. I'll be damned if he ain't within a margin of error.
I mean, seriously, yeah. Uh,
So, I got a picture of him at one of the concrete pours, and the wind kind of picked up right at that point, so it made his uh he didn't have his safety vest like actually zipped up or anything, so it made the safety vest kind of billow out. So I
like a cape.
Yep. So I put a caption with it of Captain Concrete and sent it to my boss and everybody else. Because with friends like me, who needs enemies?
Mm, I'll tell you one thing my dad impressed the other farmers around us with. Uh, the soil chemistry
Mm,
was very important depending on which crops you're going to plant at that time because you had to plant things in a rotation so you didn't um, use up all the minerals in the soil. You had to be careful that whatever you planted one year that used up one mineral, the next year you planted something else that actually put it back.
Same thing up
And
here. That's why the farmers rotate the corn and the soybeans.
exactly, the soybeans put nitrogen back in the corn needs
Yep.
when it grows. And that saves you money. It really does. But Dad would just grab a handful of dirt, squeeze it, and
Mm,
pretty much make a half size, well, like
mm,
three golf balls in one hand, sort of thing. And then he'd smell it and he'd look at it and go, this is going to need lime. It's too acidic.
mm,
Or this is going to need fertilizer. It's too alkaline. And send off a sample to have it tested.
mm,
Every time it came back, Dad was right. I
mm.
mean, don't ask me how. It's the
Well,
same way he could see the difference in the size of something down to 1,000th of an inch.
mm,
This is just a learned skill, and it's got to do with growing up in Tennessee as a very, very poor person that could not afford to send stuff off to a lab. You
yeah.
have to go limestone soil. Uh, this is gonna need this, or
Mm,
this is gonna need that. This is not limestone. This is a lake bottom that used to
mm,
be here a million years ago, and it's gonna be it. We're gonna grow some great tomatoes here.
mm.
Um,
I keep telling Tony the day that he walks up, grabs a handful of it, and licks it, and can tell me the water cement ratio and how many pounds of fine aggregates are in it, I'm having him committed. Uh,
You know he might actually read the paperwork and then go do it just to
just to
mess
screw
with
with me,
you.
yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
But the soil thing, we actually we don't do it so much anymore. At least I haven't done it in a long time. But we used to have to take soil samples into our testing lab to get the compaction numbers. And I think that was more when we did the nuclear density gauge
mhm.
than the stuff that we use now. But the one woman that worked in testing back then, you bring in a bag of soil for testing, and before you even unloaded it off the cart, she'd walk out, open up the bag, grab out a handful, roll it around in her hand, look at you, and go, "This ain't gonna pass." You sure? Yeah, there's no way. She goes, "This is gonna fail hard."
And
Okay,
she'd be
so
right
then,
every time, wouldn't she?
hmm
Yep.
you,
Um,
you bring
they
in another,
know.
you bring in another sample, and she'd go, "Yep, this will work." She goes, "Your proctor's gonna be, proctor will be this, but I'm gonna run the test anyway to make sure." And I'll be damned if she wasn't within a margin of error for her number.
And it's just one of those things where um, you didn't grow up with a chemistry set, but you knew the practical application of
Mm-hmm.
how things worked. And you go, mm, this is going to need more lime because it's too acidic, or
Yep.
this has got more lime than it needs. You're going to have to add something that is non acidic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're going to have to add a base to that, uh, which is basically lime.
Yeah.
Um, and
And we.
in East Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
with soil that is made out of limestone to start with,
Yeah.
good guess is you're going to need fertilizer because this is way too alkaline. Um,
Uh, We are down to almost the last 2 minutes.
oh my God. Well, I'm not going to play the damn video thing about almost the end of the show, but um, thank you for being here with me. Thank you for
Yeah.
allowing me to run off at the mouth. And thank you for allowing me the chance to kind of unload who I am and what I am and why I am. Um, that's been kind of pressing on my mind a little bit lately, but I'm no longer a spring chicken, as you can tell from the gray hair and the beard that has no brown in it whatsoever. Um, yeah, I need to shave
Uh,
that, but
I'm
uh,
I'm getting there. The only brown that's left is the little bit right here. So.
it it will come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, you'll find out there are highlights that you want to keep, and then there are not highlights you want to hide,
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll go, wait a minute, this isn't me. I want to do this.
Mm-hmm.
This is who I am. This is what I'm supposed to look like. And my mom is famous for proclaiming to family and friends that um, I was actually born with a pair of glasses and a mustache. I'm going. That must have hurt, Mama.
You're
I'm
right.
sorry. Uh, but she's going, no, no, you don't look natural with it. I wish you'd shave your beard, but you got to keep that mustache because that's definitely you. I'm going, I'm doing my best. Um, and
That's why I'm letting this little tuft kind of grow out and figure I'd change up a little bit. And
mm,
who knows? Maybe I'll start my villain arc. Uh,
that's not all it's cracked up to be. Uh, it's not. Believe me, being a villain is not as much fun as being the hero. It's just
no, but
less
the villain.
dangerous.
Well, the villains get a lot better music.
And they get all the really hot villain girls. Uh, not that you and I need hot villain girls, but
I'm not trying to be 007 here, but because he also got the hot villain girls. He just didn't realize they were villains at that point.
oh
Uh,
no, he realized that he just killed them when he was through with them. Um, sorry, but
yeah.
business is
Spoilers.
business.
Uh, spoilers
Uh,
for those who have not watched any James Bond movies. Uh,
um, yeah, basically, spoiler, he got laid a lot.
right.
Um, um, more than most college guys ever dream about. But then again, most college guys don't carry a Walther PPK and have a car with an ejector seat, um, which always was fortunately the passenger seat, so it wasn't the driver that got ejected. It was
Yeah.
the bad guy holding a gun on the driver. Um,
Yeah. Luckily, Q never screwed that one up. Wouldn't that be a
Q
pisser? You hit the ejector button, all of a sudden you're looking at your car going, well, shit.
Fucker's going to London without me. Thank God I've got a parachute. He did put a parachute here, didn't he? Um,
He
the
still put
ground
that in
is
the
approaching really fast.
yeah, he packed that in the right seat. He, the
Um,
CO2 lines got hooked up to the wrong one. Uh,
no, that it's just so many spy movies did everything right, and some very few of them did everything wrong.
hmm
And never the twain shall meet because the ones that got everything wrong didn't get shown on TV.
Yeah.
Um, they didn't get optioned. The ones that get everything right not only hit the theater, made $1 million, made several $1 million, but got shown on TV many years later, and
hmm
us uh, young and impressionable lads got to see it. And we're going, she's wearing stiletto heels. I don't think I'll trust her very much. And this was the 60s, so
hmm
hot girl with high heels, not exactly trustworthy. This is the bad guy's favorite
hmm
piece, and I'm not talking about an occasional piece, which is nice to have around the office, as George Carlin said. Uh,
Well,
I'm out of control here. I'm just kind of
I was gonna say
um,
we should probably say goodnight, Gracie. Uh,
yeah, definitely. I could do an entire George Carlin routine, but George's estate would probably not appreciate me doing that because he did it much better than I could ever do. Here we go. Um, Good night. Thank you for being here, Joe. Audience, everybody. Hey, and Rob's here from Atomic Snack Bar right at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I well, when have I ever been in control, dude? You know me. Not personally, but you know me from the conversations we've had. Um, it's time to end the show, and I'm not Mr. Rogers, so I'm not going to sing a song. But believe it or not, there is a bedtime story, which a lot of people have yet to read, and I'm kind of proud of it as a literary effort. It took me a couple of days, but took me longer than that to compose the music. And as per my Facebook post, my music is mine,
Mm-hmm.
not anybody else's, and my friends have permission to use it however they wish. Now, if you want to claim that you own it, show me where you published it and when,
Mm-hmm.
because I have the receipts. I know, and I can prove when this was done, or that was done, or the other was done, and you were not involved. And it doesn't sample anybody's anything. It's all straight out of my head. My sick, twisted little brain came up with all of this stuff
And
and made
this is why on my end credits I put, unlike Dan's show, there is no bedtime story here, because I don't have the patience to make one up.
well, you really could, but that would make me less unique than I actually seem to be. So, thank you. And if you ever want one, I really could do something like that, but you, you'd probably get demonetized really quickly because
Well, hell, I'd have to be monetized first, but
hey, I don't look for ever being monetized whatsoever, and I really don't care. I'm just here to be able to hang out with my friends and have a good time and try not to have to go to bed so early that I wake up at 4 a.m. going, I can only have 2 cups of coffee, otherwise I'm going to upset my stomach. I don't want to be drinking beer at 9 o'clock in the fucking morning, but if I have to wake up now, I will be. So, good night, Gracie.
good night, folks.
We'll see you
And
later.
for Chris, go good, guys.
Thank you.
Transmission overload.
System will shut down. System will shut down. System will shut down.
Oh, son of a gun. You thought I was going to say son of a bitch, didn't you?
Hello, I'm Dan Hollifield. I'm the senior editor and publisher of Aphelion Webzine, the world's oldest free creative writing e-zine since 1997. Since then, we have helped over 500 amateur writers learn what they needed to turn pro. www.aphelion-webzine.com and read not only what we've got going on right now, but 28 years worth of our archives of stories. Thank you very much.